Oh, wait,
if
hold
there's
on,
any
hold on,
issue.
hold on. The now it shows that I have 0 thorium to be staked, but I have like a lot, and it's all available in my wallet. It's just been unstaked.
Sorry, so okay, so it's in your wallet, but it's not
Yeah.
that available to be staked. Are you going through dApps or
I'm just browser.
And then how are you connecting it to your MetaMask?
From browser Thoreum homepage to MetaMask using login connect up right, and then I click on the pool that I want to stake, and it says that I have no Thorium available.
You're sure you connected to? You don't have a couple of different accounts on MetaMask? Maybe you got to swap to the correct one, something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to show you. Hold on.
Sure. Which kind of phone are you on?
I'm using my PC now.
Oh, okay.
Don't want to use a phone.
Oh, so what change did you make? You just went across to a different browser, did you?
No, it just worked out of nowhere.
Oh, that's weird. Although this is making me think that there's
There's a bug somewhere. Yeah, because as I said, I've been here. I've literally been here since pre-sale, and this is the first time this shit's happened. So yeah, I'm gonna send you a screenshot again.
Sure, it's open.
You see there,
it's showing up. It's showing your Thoreum up at the top there. So what's the issue?
When I go to stake, it says I have O to. It says, "Oh, I have O to stake."
Okay, so but are you sure you unstaked it? Because when you've got the Thoreum up,
yeah, check my screenshot. Check the screenshot.
Oh yeah, I see 165. It's still showing 0 when you've approved the contracts and nothing silly like that.
Yeah, I'll show you.
And the amount of Thoreum that's showing that's included. That's not what you've got staked, and the amount that's in your wallet is something separate. That's including that, right?
So the screenshot that I sent you is direct from MetaMask, and the MetaMask is the amount that I have that's currently not staked that I wish to stake. Right. That's the message that I get.
Yeah. Oh, that's Thoreum BNB. You need, that's a liquidity pair. You've got to create a liquidity pair of Thoreum and BNB. It's not just staking Thoreum.
Okay, so I put BNB and Thoreum in.
Yeah, liquidity pairing is a little different. What you've got to do is you've got to go to PancakeSwap and you've got to create a liquidity pair there. So if you go, I can walk you through it if you want. If you open up PancakeSwap. Oh, you had me really worried. I couldn't work out what was going on.
Yeah, neither could I.
Yeah, no worries. This is fine. I can walk you through this.
So I'm on liquidity.
Yeah, PancakeSwap. Then there should be liquidity pairs, and then it should say something like create a new pairing, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when you're in there, you need to stake equal value of 2 different coins. One of them is Thoreum, one of them is BNB. Make sure you don't clear out all your BNB because you'll need some for the transactions.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, knowing that now, I actually don't want to do it anymore. So, fuck, I just cost myself fees for nothing.
Where did you lose fees?
So I just transferred out of 7 because the APRs dropped. I made like roughly I made deposit fees, but my withdrawal fee is now absent. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's entirely up to each person to do the maths. I personally really like liquidity pairs because you lose going into the pair, and you lose when you break it. But all the time that pair is together, you don't get hit with any taxes. So if the project runs for 2 or 3 months, you can move apart from the fee to get into the pools. You can move it around, and the Thoreum inside that doesn't get affected. So jump on YouTube when you've got some free time and find out how to work liquidity pairs. But at least we know what your issue is. So what are you going to do? Just hold it in your wallet for now and recover with.
Actually, I haven't. If I hold it in my wallet, I get reflections, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't get reflections if I'm in Vault or hot pools.
No, correct. I mean, right now, if you're staked in a pool, stay in the pool. If you're holding it in your wallet, you've just got to decide between the wallet and the vault. Is probably the two best options because at the moment we've got so much volatility that both of those holding and staking in the vault are going about the same APR. Yeah,
they're both pretty viable. It's because it's so volatile and because the market's dropping right now. Maybe I just keep that 160 in my wallet and see what grants. I was considering putting it in
around. Sorry, go on.
I was considering putting it in Thunderbolt 1, but I've already got 100 in Thunderbolt 1. Can I put more than 100 in Thunderbolt 1? Because it said that
I don't think it's maxed. It used to have a max, but I'm pretty sure, unless they've reinstated it, I don't think there's a max anymore. Let me just open it.
Yeah. Because that compounds as well, so I think that the overall income would be higher.
Yeah, well, I mean, each person's got to do their own maths, but it entirely depends on volatility. If we continue to get the amount, then I think holding is probably a little bit better. But
you mean holding wallet?
If it drops, holding the wallet. But if it drops off tomorrow, you'll have been better in the vault. So let me just check for you. Yeah, both Thunderbolt 1 and 2 are both unlimited now.
Yeah. Cheers. You've been fucking great, actually.
Yeah, well, sorry about that. I'm glad that we managed to get you sorted out.
Nah, that's all right. I think I'm just gonna hodl in the wallet, and because since the start of Thor, I've just staked since the start, and it's cost me about 100k tokens. I'm fine with that, but eventually my vaults will come through. They're doing quite nicely, but I haven't actually tried it just hodling. And I should have because it's been volatile since launch.
I mean, the advice that I'm giving, and it's entirely my advice, not coming down from devs or anything like that, but I try and split my holdings across as many different options as possible. So I'm holding a little bit in my wallet in case there's a new project that comes up that I like. Got a little bit in vaults, a little bit in the pools, a little bit in liquidity pairs. And then it doesn't really matter day to day if there's one that's down or one that's up, because across the board I'm doing all right. And I don't get the FOMO of being like, oh, well, this one's doing well, because I can harvest across all the rest and chuck the new harvest into whatever the new hotness is without getting hit for that. And of those pools.
And because it's just harvest, you only get taxed on the harvest, not the transfer, right?
You only get taxed on the harvest, not the transfer of what? I'm not coming out of any pools. I'm still in the original. I'm still in Thoreum 1, Thoreum 2. I'm everywhere. Like, that's what I'm saying, is rather than going all into one, because then if it does drop off, you feel bad. But those Thoreum 1s are still making me fine money. They would probably be better to pull them out and put them somewhere. But the whole maths of how long you need to leave it in to make profit is always weighing on the back of my mind. So
yeah. There's so much math, like with multi-stake projects like this. There's so much math. I just can't be arsed with it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I dollar costed in on the price, so I was in a pre-sale, and then obviously it dropped off, and I picked up a bunch at 0.03, a bunch at 0.05, a bunch at 0.07. So like I've averaged in okay, and then wherever I stake, I just haven't touched it. So I know that, as long as it covers the tax, I don't have any intention of unstaking it anytime soon either. So I think that the people that are doing well that seems to be the game plan. The people that are losing out are the ones that try and hop from pool to pool, thinking it's the same as Pancake Cake or any of those other guys.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, mate. Much love.
No worries. If there's any other questions, give us a shout. See you in a bit.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do.
Hello.
All right, mate. How's things?
Hey, I was I have a marketing proposal
Yeah,
for you if you
I
are
saw it for you.
interested.
Let me just it's not me that you need to speak to. Let me get you the contact details of who you need to speak to. 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Your CoinDoc, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've just DM'd you the link that you need, all right?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
All right, thanks, bud. Bye.
I've got another question.
All right, mate, how can I help?
It's me from earlier. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no
So,
worries.
you know where you can compound for all on the vaults.
Yes.
What? So if you compound, as like the only benefit of that is that you get a chance to win a bounty, right?
Yes, correct.
So it's possible that if I choose to compound for all that happens is that I accelerate my own compound.
No. When you compound it, it compounds for everybody. So you you're doing a service to the for the community,
more or less.
But and in exchange for that, there's a chance that you will get back more than what you paid for the transaction fee. But it depends on the number of people clicking at the same time. It depends on the amount that has been accrued since the last time that somebody compounded. So again, it's a straight up gamble. It's just whether you want a chance to make something from it. I've done it about a dozen times, and I've never come away with much more than what I put in. Some people have claimed that they've done very well from it. So again, it's up to you to work out whether you think it's worth it or not.
You said you've compounded about a dozen times, and have you broke even on those compounds overall, do you think?
Well, it's a little tough because it doesn't come into your wallet in a direct way. It just jumps up your the amount in that vault that's being held for you, and I would have got something from that compound anyway. So it's probably about even. It might be a little more, it might be a little bit less, but I think that while the vaults are new, there's a lot of people jumping and thinking it's like a guaranteed way to make, and it's just maths when you got that many people. It's so I mean, try it once or twice, especially apparently in the middle of the night when there's fewer people online is the time to do it. But that's the situation with it.
All right, nice.
All right.
It's nice to have these little voice things.
Yeah, well, it's one of the things that the community's been shouting out for, because it is a complicated token, but they've been looking for English-speaking mods that can help out and know enough about the product. I'm not so sure about all the technical sides, but most people, it is exactly the same as you. They're jumping on with the same questions. So those ones I went through myself only a couple of weeks ago, so I know I know how to resolve the majority of them. But sometimes people need more. But really, we want to get the voice chat going full time because
I think that's
nice for the community to be able to chat and So if you want it more.
How long have you been in BSC?
About a year and a half. I was with Garuda and Cerberus before Thoreum, just as a staker. So I know the devs very well, and it was terrible what happened over there, but it looks like they're legitimately trying to learn from their mistakes and go in a better direction. So I'm pretty heavily in with Thoreum now, and I'm very happy with the results so far. But it's definitely a bit of a mind change from a lot of the other coins that I was in before, where it's a very pump and dump, a very toxic user base, and we're really trying to get away from. I mean, everything is geared up to hit people that are trying to sell early and quick, and really trying to give some motivation for people to hold long term. But a lot of people have been told that so many times that they're so wary of it.
They don't listen to it. Yeah. So there's no one in the voice chat other than us two. What?
Yeah.
How would you rank Thorium compared to, say, other bigger projects?
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak about the ones that I've been in. You know, I certainly came from SafeMoon as my as the one that got me into this kind of thing, and was very impressed with that early on. But the big problem is that they have no use case once they've got their user base. It was really just a meme, you know, and they were the first ones to do reflections, but then there was nothing to do with it. And you can see now through all their advertising and everything, they're trying to set their wallets up, not the wallet, the credit cards up, and they're trying to bring it to Thorium and all this kind of thing. But the problem is they're trying to do it
After the pump.
Exactly. Well, after the product has been built, so it's very difficult to change code afterwards. So with Thorium, we're so lucky because all of that is already built in. If we want to launch a credit card tomorrow, we can turn the tax off. It's already built in that we can turn it off. Whereas projects like SafeMoon, you know, they're going to have to change their entire code or release a new coin and get the whole user base to move across. So stuff like that, it's super easy for us because it's already there, and it's you know, the fact that we can stake coins in something like a vault with no tax proves that they can turn the tax off. Whereas you can see on all of these places where you can stake coins, you can never stake anything like SafeMoon, because once you take your tax going in and the reflections that you're going to lose in and out, there's just no way to make profit from it.
Yeah.
So from that side, I've been very, very impressed. They're still certainly learning, and they're still, you know, making mistakes, but they seem to be trying to rectify them. I mean, the dynamic pools is another example. Everyone was jumping into the first couple of pools, and it was wrecking the APR. People wouldn't do the maths before jumping in, and we were like, look, you can see that the APR doesn't work. Stop getting in this pool, but you can't stop people, right? So then they started work on this dynamic pool, where it doesn't really matter about the number of people that are in there. In fact, if you look at the code for it, it's actually better the more people that are in there. So they're learning and making advancements every day. And they've still got a lot of plans in the future. I mean, Thorium's really step one, and there's a lot of plans further down the line, because we're still mining at the moment. Once the mining's done, you'll see. Well, before it's done, you'll see what the next steps that are planned. But there's big things in the works. So
can you explain?
Grow your bag. Yeah, go on.
Can you explain the logic behind the, like, once all the Thorium's mined? I don't really understand what that would give us. Would it mean that the token is more scarce?
Yes, exactly, because the burn will continue. So you're going to have a number of coins that are in circulation, and that number will be reducing. The same as SafeMoon. So, but the problem is that there has to then be a need for that coin. Otherwise, you're just deflating something that no one wants, other than to, you know, just bragging rights or something like that. So what will happen is later on down the line, you're going to find that you're going to start to see pools jump up, or, you know, it might be an entirely new cypto. I don't know exactly that side of it, but you're going to start to see stake Thorium get BNB, stake Thorium get BUSD, something like that. And the only way that you're going to get access to it is to people with Thorium. Yeah, you've already had it, but at the moment.
Oh, you mean on other exchanges?
No, even here. But what I'm saying is, yeah, exactly. Let's imagine that, you know, we're 3 months down the line and there's no more Thorium being mined, and we see a Thunder Boost farm come up. People are going to want to get access to Thorium so that they can stake it, and there's not going to be the option to mine it. The only option is then to buy it, and every day there's less and less available to people. Of course, supply and demand, and the burn continues. The only thing that can happen is the price increase, right?
Yeah.
So
all
that's,
right, nice.
That's how it's gonna work, and that part of it is already well established. You can see it from Pancake Swap. They're what do they have over there? They have syrup and cake. Yeah, cake is the oh, my brain's gone to mush. their main token, and then you can get syrup from it as the reflections. So it'll be similar.
All right, nice one.
Oh, lots of people here now.
No,
Hey,
not
Gareth.
many.
Hey, Junebug.
Just five.
It's enough for us.
Yeah. All right, I must go. Cheers.
No worries, mate. Anytime. If anyone else wants to shout out, just unmute yourselves. I'll be here.
What's up, man? You know that's a freaking scam, right? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, ML. How's things, buddy? Oh, didn't last long.
Hey, Mr. J.
Hey, Ray. How's things?
Not too bad, man. Just here taking a break from work.
Nice, nice. How's everything going today? You all right?
Yeah, everything is going well so far. It's a
Nice.
great day here. We've been having good weather lately.
It's good to hear.
We had
It's
a
good
lot
to
of
hear.
rain last week. I know you guys over in Europe had a lot of rain. But-
Well, we've had some record-breaking heat as well. So it kind of goes backwards and forwards. We never seem to get 2 days in a row the same.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of rain last week, but this week is just a lot of sun.
Yeah.
So, but I remember yesterday when you were discussing with one of the gentlemen on here about creating the LPs because he didn't know how to create LPs.
Yes.
Have you guys considered creating a Zap function? You see how you have that tool on the front page where you could actually purchase directly there. It might be interesting to add a Zap function to create the LPs very quickly.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. I'm actually just about to start recording a. There was somebody on earlier that I ran through the whole process with them step by step over chat, and I'm hoping the chat was being recorded here, and I was going to upload it to YouTube or somewhere so that I can just link people to it, or they can link from the site to it. But you're 100% right. That would resolve that issue. It's just, I think the biggest problem is people don't realize that it's not a standard thing. The number of people that turn up thinking that they're staking thorium and getting BNB, and I'm like, no, it's a whole other thing. I know that you guys are new, but it's an entirely different process.
Yeah, it's actually my favorite pool right now.
Me too.
Actually,
Me too. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you lock up once you create the LP, you can move it around as much as you like, and you don't get taxed on it. I think it's great. Let me just message one of the devs now about what's it called? Zap function.
Yeah,
ZAP?
Zap. Yeah, it's we use a single coin, such as BUSD or BNB, and then it splits it and create the LP for you automatically.
LP. Oops. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've messaged one of the devs, the one that normally gets back to me pretty sharpish with stuff like this. Quite often these guys they're so in it, and they're looking at the top level functionality. They miss out on simple basic stuff like this that can really help the users out. So that's a great idea. I will definitely follow it up.
Yeah, it doesn't actually teach them how to do it. It just does it for them. So sometimes learning how to actually do it might be better. Not everywhere has that function.
Yeah. I think that that's how DeFi will go, though, right? It's like the eras of interacting directly with contracts is just long gone. And sooner or later there'll just be one big user interface where you do all of this in one place, right? It won't. There's no point in teaching people the old ways when there's new ways coming out all the time. That's much easier, or at least much more user friendly.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But yeah, that YouTube video should be up tomorrow. So at least we'll have a link for someone so that they can walk through the process.
I was actually quite surprised that the team has focused more on the actual individual pools and the individual vaults rather than the LPs. I know most of the other AMA projects I've been involved in, they focus more on the LPs to get the liquidity.
Well, that's the thing is we haven't needed the liquidity at the moment. The incentive is on lining, and it's just so much easier to write the contracts. The liquidity is obviously important, but the actual liquidity that you get from the product gets from LPs isn't actually you don't need as much as a lot of these places do it. And they're just using it as a way to get people like excited about it. Staking the tokens is just as efficient at jumping up the value as LP tokens.
Yeah,
but I personally really like them. And again, they want to get hold of you. They want to get hold of the tax. That's the other thing. And as soon as it's stuck inside that liquidity pair, they can't touch it, right?
Yeah, especially for tokens that fluctuate a lot. Like right now, Thorium has been, stuck in that, range of between 0.005 and 0.001, so it's just fluctuating between there. It's been fairly stable. So to me, that's one of those perfect situations for the LPs, you have minimal impermanent loss.
I was just about to say you're aware of impermanent loss, right? So it sounds like you've got a strong idea of the, because a lot of people, again, I think it's when you've got a product that's as complicated as this, and then somebody's unstaked broken up their pairing, and then they're like, oh well, like I didn't even get anything here, and you're like, okay, but you also have to understand impermanent loss. Like jump on YouTube and find out what you're actually doing. Like it's on top of everything, it's a lot. So I think that's why they haven't pushed it too hard. But certainly towards the end, as the mining finishes and they go towards launching whatever the next phase is, I think that's when you'll see a big ramp up in liquidity, because that's when they'll need that extra liquidity. Yeah, that's when they're going to need it.
Yeah, because I would imagine, right, like initially, there's probably going to be a huge amount of selling happening right after the mining is done.
I don't know, man. I really feel like that's. See, in my head, that's when the project actually launches. That's when we actually find out the use cases for this governance token, which is effectively what we're mining. So that's like saying the people that are holding cake or whatever, the minute that they buy it, they're going to sell it. No, it's a governance token. That's as the burn continues from there, as everybody trades it and the Thor account gets more powerful, that's when you're going to see the price really start to ramp up. I can't see any advantage of selling immediately afterwards, especially as it'll take a little bit of time for us to get back up to a point where with taxes, people can make profits. But each their own. I'll be interested to see if there's a bunch of selling. That's great for me. But
Well,
that's not what I intend to sell for sure.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But what I personally expect is that initially, like right after it's finished, or in fact, right before finishing, I expect a
Really?
lot of people to start selling. And then, it kind of shakes out that those people who are actually just in it for the mining aspect of it. And then
See,
it will
I
start
don't.
rising from there.
Yeah. I can't see them waiting to launch the next stage. I can't. I don't think they will wait until the mining is completed to launch the next stage. You'll start to see it as we get close. You'll get straight. Before it happens, they're not going to want
Yeah.
people to come out of the vaults and things and dump the coins. They're going to want to say, okay, take your coins out of the vault. Here's the next stage. Stake Thorium, get BNB, and that BNB will come from the Thor account. People will see by then there's going to be $4 or $5 million worth of BNB sitting there, and they're going to go, shit, I can leave this here and just collect BNB for the next year. Why on earth would I sell? And someone else is going to jump on and go, oh, if I can get hold of some of that thorium, I can get BNB, but then you have to buy it, and there's no more being mined or minted. That for me
Yeah.
is when the price increases.
Yeah, actually, when I was reading through the project of the docs, it also says
Yeah.
that 50% of the, those non-thorium pools, that have that deposit fees, that 5 and
Right.
10% fees, 50% of that goes towards giving back for the mining of the other coins. So, like for example, staking thorium and getting the BUSD or BNB
Yeah.
also comes from there as well.
Yeah, I mean the Thor
And-
account is just there for stability in whichever way they need to get it out there. So if that's buyback and burn, if that's Thor hammer drops, if it's rewards for mining, like that's what they'll use it for.
Oh, so you're saying that those funds actually goes into the Thor account?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I thought it was
Let
like a
me
separate
check.
account than the Thor account, because from the way I read it, it
Yeah.
seemed like it's a special account
Right.
storing BNB for
No, I'm 99% sure that's the same account. Or
oh, okay.
they might not. It might not be the same like numbered account, but in our heads, the collective accounts being used for that purpose is what it is. But I will double check for you. But I think if it's being stored as BNB, that's the Thor account. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because we had those thunder pools
Yes.
that had that were giving you BNB and
BNB or
BUSD.
BUSD. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. So you're saying those funds that were being given out there were coming from the Thor account? Because
Well,
see,
there's
that's
no
what I
other.
thought, that
There's
50%
no
was
other.
going to that.
There's only two places it could have come from. It could have come from there, or it's coins that have still got to be mined, got transferred to BNB, and then were being distributed. The end result is the same, right? Whether it comes from one side or the other, it's coming from the stockpile that they've got for this project. Yeah. It doesn't actually make any difference which side it's coming from. But I think anytime that they're referring to BNB, I'm pretty sure that is the Thor account. If you're honestly concerned about it, drop me a DM.
No.
To the devs. No,
It's not really.
I sit here on chat for like 2 hours, and I get to the end, and then I'm like, somebody was asking a question earlier that I would actually like to know the answer to myself.
Yeah, it's not something that I need to know. It's just how I interpreted it when I was reading the docs. So
Off the top of my head, when they wrote the docs, they didn't have the name in their head, the Thor account. So I think whenever they talk about holding BNB, that was their idea, is the Thor account, and then it was given that name afterwards. So I think anytime that they're referring to it, that is what they're referring to. But I can double check it for you, no worries.
Because I was going through those non-Thor pools, and some of them, especially the stable coin ones, they have quite a bit of funds in them.
Yeah.
You know, and then I was looking at, you know, they take 10%.
Yeah.
So I figured, yeah, that's quite a bit of funds that are being generated
Yeah.
to be given out to those coins later on, which is
Yeah.
a good thing. And, you know, it gives me a lot of reassurance that
Yeah. Again,
there's more.
I've got a feeling that all of that immediately gets transferred to BNB and then is stored in that account. It's not. We're not. I don't. Oh no. There is some liquidity being held in each one of them. You're right. Sorry. You can even see it in the chat. Though you can see the breakdown of what it's holding in what denominations.
In the chat where.
Yeah, it comes up. It comes up periodically. Yeah. Let me minimize this and scroll. See if I can find the last time it was posted.
You mean that stats page that shows you like how much is
Yeah.
You know, the price of thorium, the all-time high, the market cap, that one?
Yeah. So it was circulating by 1.9, market cap 13, holders, liquidity 71.3 million, and then so it is. It's being held in BNB. So it does sound
Yeah,
like
it says almost
but,
2,000 BNB. Yeah, 1,900. Yeah, so it's
crazy.
even more money than the Thor. Well, I mean, it's additional money, almost as much as the Thor account. So
yeah, I mean, we see it the other way around. We you know, it's crazy to us that the Thor account is close to the amount of liquidity that we're holding. That's mad. You know, so anyone that's complaining about the price now, I just tell them, like, look at the Thor account. You know where that money's going. Like any calculation that you're doing for what the value is, you need to be factoring in the value of that Thor account.
yeah, how I look at it is I compare the Thor account to the market cap. So
Thor account, okay.
Yeah, because the market cap is the value of the coin, right? So for example, if everyone tries to sell, you know, if something happens and everyone starts selling, that's the market cap, that's the amount that is going to be going towards zero, right? So it's 13 million right now. The Thor account is almost 1 million. So we can reduce the selling, the effect of everyone selling, but we can't stop it from going to zero because the Thor account is still significantly less.
Yeah, but the other thing is that you have to remember is that unless something really random happens, you're not going to get everybody selling instantaneously. And when they sell, if you think that there's 13 million there, you know that as people sell, 14% of that immediately goes back in as tax. So you're going to get another I don't have a calculator in front of me, but another 1.52 million that's going to go straight into that Thor account, right? Even if the worst case scenario, what you're talking about happens, if the price drops suddenly by, you know, a huge amount, no matter what the situation is, a bunch of people are going to rebuy because they're going to see the price drop off. That then triggers a whole bunch more tax. So the only reason that the Thor account is sitting stable is because, you know, the transactions are kind of stabilizing as well. If we suddenly see huge amounts, that Thor account jumps up and like really gives us some strength to stabilize or drop the hammer or, you know, do whatever, or drop a new pool with crazy APR. It's such a strong mechanism. It's really underrated, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like to see the ratio between the Thor account and the market cap when it's increasing. It's been increasing a lot over the last week, but I guess over the last 2 days when BNB took a dump, it kind of pulled down the Thor account.
Oh, someone else
you have a lot
logging
more
in.
people online now.
Yeah, a couple jumped in, a couple jumped out. Yeah, it would be interesting to have it as a ratio there. I'm so glad that you, regardless of how much of them you understood or whatever, that you read the docs, because so many people jumping in here and just don't understand square one about this project. So it is nice to be able to chat to someone that understands like the importance of that account and what it's actually doing for us, and that there's really no other projects out there that are deflationary and have this buyback and burn mechanic and reflections and. So it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and your questions are obviously very interesting as well. I'm gonna have to try and keep them in my head if you won't DM me. because I'd like to confirm. I'm pretty sure that that's the account that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I took it as two separate accounts. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah, there is one more account that's held by for advertising and things like that. So that's the only other account that could be coming into the factor. But it's very clearly stated that where those funds come from and when they get those. So I'd be very surprised if it's anything to do with that.
Yeah, I actually, you see how the price has been, stable. A lot of people want to see it start running up above the launch price.
There's no point. There's absolutely no point. All it does is sets off a bunch of paper hand selling. That's all it does. And anyone that's in that mindset, we're not interested. That's not what the project's been built for. It's not for the short-term holders. So, I mean, you can see you've done the maths yourself. If they dropped all the money that was in the Thor account now, it would actually scupper the project, because it would just force all those people to sell. Yeah, we get a bunch of tax when it's sold, but it doesn't actually do anything for us. Much better, teaching these people. You can get your reflections, you can make, good APR. Don't worry about that. I mean, it's going to go up after we finish the mining. Once there's a use case for it. At the moment, you're just mining for mining's sake. But once we've got a use case for it, that's.
The only drawback I see with the price being so stable is that new investors, especially you start advertising on BTalk, right? When you're looking to invest in a project, you often look at the history of the charts.
Yeah.
And people generally like to see a recent increase, a trending upwards, and so therefore, a rising token does increase the amount of people jumping on board. A stable token, I'm not sure necessarily, but at least your holders is increased. I monitor it every day, and I have not seen a single day when it reduced.
Yeah, that's the thing for us, is numbers of holders, and trying to get that legitimately to increase, naturally. And I've been in so many tokens and projects where it shot up, and all that happens is the whales come in and manipulate it. I mean, we got strong tokenomics here, so it's very anti-whale. But if you came in here with $100 million, you could manipulate it and still really pump it, really get people excited, and then people could drop out of it, and then everyone's left holding nothing. So for me, stable increase over time. And again, as you said, the whole market's been terrible this last period. So even stability right now, having somewhere where you can put it and guarantee that you're going to be able to get it out later at the same price with some 1 or 2% reflections, there's sooner or later people are going to see the value of that.
Yeah, definitely. And I always try to compare this project to Cerberus, and I would have, in the last few days, how Bitcoin has pulled down the whole market. This project has remained steady. In fact, it's actually up over the last few days. But a project like Cerberus would be going down. And all the other projects that I'm in that is similar to Cerberus, they've all been tanking over the last few days. Like, there's nothing they can do to stop it.
I mean, all they're doing is printing tokens in those kinds of places. So all they can do is try and get people on board by offering higher and higher APRs, and it's just this cold war where everyone's just the value of what they're holding is worth less and less and less with each time they pump it up to try and bring in new value. Whereas we're the exact opposite. We don't actually need any more people. It's just an advantage for us if we do. If they just split up the amount that we were holding now, everyone would do fine. So there's no advantage to us to suddenly jump up. I mean, we would like to see an upward trend, obviously, but an upward trend at some point still breaks that pre-sale price, and there's going to be a bunch of people that have got their bots set to auto sell as soon as they've made X, and they don't care what's happening with the token and the usability that we've integrated and all these kinds of things. So yeah, that I'm not saying that it's not something that we want, but I personally don't see much advantage in it. I mean, obviously, I like to see my Lambo tokens increasing every day, but you know, at the same time, the long term's got to be the priority, right?
Yeah, that's true. So I have when I look through some of these pools, right, especially the
Yeah.
stablecoin pools, some of these pools have gone down to having an APR of 0.01%. And some of them are dynamic pools. Why, therefore the users, they're not even making a single Thorium a day. So why does the team allow these pools to go solo, especially when people pay 10% to be in those pools? Some of these people are actually not going to ever be profitable, even if they leave it for a whole year.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that you've got to be aware of. The first one is when you say not profitable, you're valuing Thorium that they're mining based on today's rate. We're giving them an option to pick up Thorium at an affordable rate, which then will increase later on. So when you say they're not going to break even, they might not break even in value, but they've been given an opportunity to pick up Thorium from staking those coins. The pools are not perfect. We are constantly bringing out new ones, and the dynamic element is it's not just a random person every day going, oh, this will be 10,000% or 100,000%. It's a ratio that's built, and yeah, as I said, it's not perfect. That's why we're bringing new ones out all the time.
I understand that, but why let it go so low? Because
because
essentially
it's an algorithm. It's not someone setting it. So when we set some of them up, we were expecting this amount of people to jump in it, and we factored these kinds of numbers into it, and maybe too many people went in it, or not enough people, or there wasn't enough emphasis put on X or Y or whatever. It's not, as I said, it's not one person that's controlling it, and you can see the. Go on.
But those dynamic pools can. I remember yesterday you were saying that, for example, a certain number of thoriums have been allocated to each pool.
And this is one of the things that I was. This is one of the things I was wrong about, and I was talking to the devs afterwards. 100% they're not allocated before. It is entirely a ratio, and it's and once the thorium has been mined, it's mined. So you will have the ability to get out of the pools at that point. But there's not an amount that's allocated. I apologize for that. It was something.
Okay, so they can't add more to a specific pool.
Exactly.
They can't.
Exactly.
Okay. I get it now. I get it.
I'm glad,
because I was wondering why they don't add more.
2 or 3 people. Yeah, and there was 2 or 3 people here, and I was like, I wonder who it was that I said that to, because afterwards they were like, no, 100%. Like once we're done mining, we're done mining. There's no. So. And were you in the chat when we were talking about having a long-term vault, like a year's vault?
Yeah. Yes. You wanted a year.
Yeah. It's the same problem. They're like, there's not going to be any thorium in a year, so there's no point in people jumping in a vault that's a year. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually wanted the 30, because personally, I think the long-term vaults are too risky. Like, for example, Vault 2, I'm actually very nervous about Vault 2. I mean, Vault 1 right now is not performing very well relative to Reflection, but at least I have the ability to leave it in 12 days, right? But Vault 2 has been performing quite well. I mean, I'm tracking my percentages daily. It's performing quite well, but it's also dropping fairly fast. So my concern is what will happen 2-3 weeks from now. Could that percentage dwindle all the way down to the point where it's well below the the reflections, and therefore I'm going to regret being in that vault.
Yeah. And you're 100% right, and it's why personal advice not coming from anyone, but I like to spread out my investments as much as possible, getting as many pools so that day to day it doesn't affect me if one of them drops off. But the other side of it is the good news is that the reason it drops off so much is because they're so popular. So it's kind of it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Like it would be better for us as individuals if everyone stayed out of the pools, but it's much better for the project if the pools fill up instantly, and it forces the devs to launch new ones every day. So it's it's tough. There is very definitely a modifier for people to get in early. It's from the AMA. It's very clear that the idea is to constantly launch new pools to keep people excited. So when you're factoring in your whenever you harvest, you want to be holding on to that and waiting for the new pool to drop. There's not really a lot of point in going back into old pools. The only other thing is with the vault is obviously the auto compounding feature, but I guess it's basically doing the same thing in your wallet, right?
Right, exactly. Like right now, it is unlikely that Vault 1 will surpass the reflections in the first 15 days of Vault 1, because
again,
the
that's
reflection is
really
already
good news,
quite
right?
ahead.
I mean, if
Well-
you're getting that maths, then that means that the Thor account is getting that same maths. So we're constantly getting more and more stability
Yes.
and more ability to buy back and burn at a later date. So again, you and I are
Yeah.
obviously at a much higher level of the maths than some of the people, and we can see those advantages and disadvantages. But getting across to the user base is tough. I was actually against them raising the tax for this exact reason. I would love to try. I loved it as a mechanism to stop people from selling, but I was like, it's going to push the reflections up too high. But the users voted for it, so who am I
Well,
to
speaking
stand
of
in the
that,
way?
I remember when they actually raised it to 14%,
Yeah.
they had initially published that they were going to have 6% for the reflection and 8% for Thor.
Okay.
And then it was shortly changed to
Okay.
4 and 10.
Okay.
And then now I see a range. I see it says 4 to 6 and 8 to 10. So I don't know. It's like, is that something they're switching on a day-to-day basis? Because
I mean that's the long and the short. The long and the short answer is that it's not. We don't want to give out more information than's required because we're constantly worried about somebody getting all the information and being able to game the system. So there are geniuses out there that are very, very good at maths, and any information that we don't have to give, we're trying not to. So a range allows you guys to have an idea of what's going on without giving the specifics. And some days it's a little higher, and some days it's a little lower, but it gives, and it also means that if they make changes, people don't start causing FUD because it's like, oh, it says this, but it's actually this. And when we change it, we've got to change it in like multiple locations. There's now, a dozen different groups and different mods who are on at different times, and getting that information out to the users is not in a formal way is
plus
as well.
There's a lot of pages in the docs that also needs updating, because when you change the
Exactly. And the
numbers, you got to
website.
change them in the docs. Yeah.
And again, it's one of the, between you and I, it's one of the key things that I'm trying to work on with this team is getting the social side of it up. I'm like, let's be a lot more honest with these guys, and they're like, no, we'll just do what's best for them and then keep them in the dark about it. I'm like, no, you need to be more transparent, because even if it's for their best interest, if people find out you're lying to them, they're just going to call bloody murder on it, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm a numbers guy.
What's that, sorry?
Yeah, I'm a numbers guy, so I like analyzing numbers and patterns. So, like for example, I find the reflections. So the reflections go up and down based on the volume, right? The sale volume of Thoreum.
Sales and the tax.
Right. So I look at, for example, Dexguru, and as well as that other one. I forgot what the other one you guys have on your page. Oh yeah, Bog Finance. So they publish the daily volume, but mind you, it's not the same. I don't know which is accurate, but I find Dexguru volume and Bog Finance volume never matches. But you can see the pattern of the volume changes, and as the volume goes up, so does the reflections.
Right.
So I find when the volumes are going up, I want to be in the wallet relative to the
Right.
pools. And when
Right.
the volume is going down significantly, then the pools are more attractive. And recently, in the
Yeah.
last few days, the volume has been very high.
Yes,
Um,
for sure.
and that's why reflections have been quite high in the last few days.
I mean,
So
again, me personally, not towing any company line or anything like that. I find that if I'm online immediately as the pools come on, it's worth chucking 20, 30,000 in there, just because that initial spike of APR, I find that I cover at least the in fees, but quite often a big chunk of the in out tax within a few hours, at least the first day. And then I find from experience 1 week to 10 days normally covers the in out fees. And then as long as the daily APR is then higher than the reflections, I'm golden, right? But yeah, I wouldn't be looking, between you and I wouldn't be looking at pools that are a few days old as at the moment, at least, being better. If the amount of transactions starts to drop off a little bit, then yeah, it might be that the pools is the place to go. But what's cool is that you're being active in it, right? And you're checking it and you're doing your maths. So many people jump in and they're like, they don't realize there's reflections, they don't realize there's pools, and like you need to slow down and take a minute.
Oh
check
yeah,
your options.
absolutely. I personally do not touch the thorium pools anymore. I went into the thorium pools initially when I first jumped in. But I find that the APRs drop too rapidly, and because they get very popular. And then you have the in and out fees. So I find they're not profitable in the short term. And I like to be able to break even, pay my in and out fees in less than 10 days, as you're saying. And I don't find that to be very common with the actual Thor pools. I do like the pools that are somewhat hidden, such as the Asgard pool, such as the LPs, because most people are not paying attention to those.
And
And
they don't
right
understand
now, and they don't understand it exactly. So I find that Thor BNB LP pool that was launched 3 days ago.
And it's dynamic
that
as
has
well,
been
right?
it's dynamic as well. And even now, 3 days in, we're still getting 3.3%. So the way I look at it, I'm actually only, I think, when I consider the in and out fees plus the actual fee, 14% of my harvest, I should be covering all of that in 2 more days. So
Okay,
in
so
5 days.
just one thing to remember: you will get taxed when you break that
The LP.
cap.
Yes, I am
I
aware
don't know
of
what
that.
I don't know what the tax rate will be at that point, but
Yeah.
but that's what's cool about it, right? We set it up now when we know what the tax is, and then like I never plan to break that liquidity bet. There's always no matter what the end case is for this project, there's always going to be a need for thorium B&B. So I'm very happy, and yeah, there might be some impermanent loss, but impermanent loss isn't actually loss. It's just you could have made more if you'd have just held thorium or B&B. I'm like, that's fine. I got reflections. I got my income in a different way.
Yeah, I actually created those LPs a long time ago. When I first started on my first day, because I'm used to creating LPs in other projects, so that is what I tend to focus on. So that's what I actually started focusing on here. But then the APRs drop rapidly, and then I felt I was stuck, so I just left it. I didn't actually break it because of the fee as well. So luckily I kept it, because now you launch that dynamic pool, and I'm waiting for you to launch the BUSD as well, a dynamic pool for that. But
so you've obviously done a little bit more maths than me. For me, the thorium B&B as an LP makes more sense, because both of them are what's it called, have a chance to move. If you had a thorium BUSD and one of them is a stable coin, that must affect you more with your impermanent loss, right? Because one of them has to stay stable and one of them will move up and down.
Okay, so in a bull market or in a situation where everything is going up, then yes, you're absolutely 100% correct. But in a time like right now, for example, if right now the BUSD would be much better than the BNB, because BNB has plummeted in the last few days. I mean, one BNB dropped all the way to 250 something dollars just yesterday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was $320 just a few days ago, right?
Yeah.
So you would actually have more permanent loss with the BNB than the BUSD in a time like now.
One second, mate. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but I thought that the whole point of liquidity pairing is that it constantly sold one side to bump up the other side. So if the two coins go down or the two coins go up, as long as they go up or down together, then your impermanent loss is much less. I thought that where it really got affected was if one went up and one went down, or one stayed the same and the other one went up or down. So I thought that was what affected it.
Right,
I had a
that's
program
correct. No, you're
that
correct.
kept track of it.
You're correct
Okay.
with the impermanent loss, but there's two things you have to consider, not just the impermanent loss, but the
Okay.
value of the LP.
Got it. Okay.
Because
I see.
Right. So because
So
BNB
you're
has
taking less
plummeted,
risk, but you're going to get
by
less
using the
returns. I
BSD.
understand. Okay.
Right, exactly. Because the value of those LPs for the BNB one is down now because BNB has plummeted so much. So
you might also know the answer to this, because when I created a couple more liquidity pairs yesterday because I like that pool as well and I wanted to get in on it. And it told me there was a little line at the bottom which I hadn't noticed before, where it said you get a proportion of all the fees that get generated by PancakeSwap. Not PancakeSwap, Binance Smart Chain, and it gets reflected in the value of the token. Is it worth creating a liquidity pair now for a token that people are going to be coming out of, like BUSD or DAI or something like that, and just getting the fees from people transferring to Thoreum?
well, so Thoreum is the one who handles the fees, right? So whatever fee is generated by the LP is going to the Thoreum project, right? So we're not. I mean, and Thoreum is probably converting that into part of the Thoreums that they're actually harvesting, because we're not
Are you sure
directly
about this?
receiving. Because we're not receiving any BNBs, right? Like when we create the LPs, right, and we hold it, the pair with Thoreum, we're not receiving any BNBs.
Yeah.
Right? Because let's just say you create an LP, right? If you create an LP and you hold it for a month, and both pairs, both tokens end up with the exact same price that when you created the LP. When you cash out, you end up with the exact same amount.
This is something that's this is what I thought before, but I definitely thought I saw something that said you get a proportion of the fees, because this idea of mining liquidity pairs is a little newer. There was, you were able to just provide liquidity pairs before, and you still got something for providing that service. Not on Thoreum, I'm just talking generally in DeFi.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but you have to be paid somehow, right? Now, how are you being paid? Are you being paid in BNB? I mean,
so what? So let me load it up, because it was. I don't actually know the answer to this, and it's genuinely interesting. I'll just do it on my phone. If I do it on here, it'll kill it. So if I go PancakeSwap, and then I go liquidity, and I go add liquidity. Oh, do I actually have to create it to get the message?
Yeah, I've seen it. Oh wow.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. But I the way I interpreted it was that those fees goes to the project that is then creating you.
No, I don't. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I think the fees are
It just goes
gas
straight into
for
the
the
LP.
transaction. Well, I mean, PancakeSwap is taking a portion of it. The MasterChef is taking a portion of it, but fees aren't controlled by the devs. It's the gas. I mean,
So you're saying that the way you interpret it is that your BNB that you're holding there to pay your gas fees is actually increasing because you're holding the LP. Like the payment for your share of the transactions is actually going to your BNB account. Because I never looked at it that way, but now you say that, maybe that's what's happening. I've never analyzed my.
I think it's. I mean, it's impossible to do because no two. I mean, I guess the only way you could do it is with two stable coins and then check it, because you're never gonna, if the reflections they were talking about were microscopic, 0.017
Right.
or something. So it would be impossible to tell, but you're definitely not receiving it in any other way. They're not airdropping BNB to you. They're not airdropping Thoreum to you. So the only way that they could possibly pay you is in the value of the pair. So what I was thinking is, like, even if there's not a pool, maybe it's worth setting up some liquidity pairs now and just seeing if they increase in value, because people will be swapping BUSD for Thoreum, right? Like, not everybody's doing it from
Right.
BNB.
Right.
People holding
Yeah, maybe it does.
and
Maybe it
stuff
does.
like that.
I never looked at it that way, but you're probably correct, because now I think about it, now that you mention it, it makes sense. It
I mean,
does
there
make
has to be some advantage for creating liquidity early on, and in projects where there's no mining, right, or no minting, or no APR, or no way of staking. Like, I know people create SafeMoon BNB liquidity pairs for sure, and there's definitely no way to stake that anywhere. They're just taking some profit off people that are swapping their BNB for SafeMoon, right?
Yeah. I mean, I personally wouldn't do that because the reason I create the LPs is because, you get
So you can stake it,
the harvesting.
sure.
Yeah, you could stake it because that's where you make a significant amount.
Yeah.
If you have to rely just on a portion of the transactions, which is so insignificant, I mean, it's your risk of impermanent loss becomes so much greater.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Because in a lot of the other projects where you're asking for to stake liquidity, it's basically between you can stake like the native token or two stable coins, because then your impermanent loss is near nothing.
Yeah, I have an impermanent loss calculator.
Hey, Eugene.
Sorry for interrupting you. It's been interesting to hear your conversation, but I have a quick question. When you finish, I would like to ask also.
Sure, how can I help?
Yeah, your name is Jay, yeah?
Mr. J.
Jay, I have a question. I've been with the project from day one. Yeah. It's been interesting what's happening, and love Thorium. My question is more about marketing and next steps, moving the project forward. Yeah, and my question is the following: at the website, there's no information about the team. I mean, it's not personalized.
Yeah, there's no the team hasn't. They haven't doxed themselves yet. I think that between you and I don't know, when you say you were in from day one, were you in Go Cerberus and Garuda beforehand?
Sorry.
Were you in Cerberus and Go Cerberus and Garuda before Thorium, or is Thorium your first project?
Yeah, I was with the Cerberus, but I got off before.
Okay. But I
Yeah.
think that there's still a lot of people that are out a lot of money because of that project, and I think that I think that they're it's still the Wild West here. So I don't think anyone's going to put their hand up at the moment until the compensation package comes out and we see how that sits with the user base. I have spoken to them about it because I think it's really important. Again, they keep wanting to call themselves SafeMoon 2.0, but a big part of the draw over there is that the team is so open and transparent about who they are and everything. So I really think it's important, but
Okay.
asking them to do it right now, at least until we see that compensation package and what form it's going to take, I can't see it happening.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
'Cause,
Yeah, I got
yeah.
out from Cerberus and got into another project that was also one of those 7 that got
Oh,
hurt.
that
But
sucks.
anyways,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the good thing
okay.
about that is that that it wasn't like deliberate because you were in one of the other projects that it happened to. So at least you're here now.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I've been watching the Chinese group, and at some point when it was 7 or 8,000, it was 6 or 7,000. It's got stuck a little bit. So I see now there's a huge growth, like the second wave. So this is also BTalk, the results. Yeah.
Right.
Like what,
Okay.
what do you think? Like that's the question. You think it's the BTalk that helps, or because it's like we're like in 2 waves, and it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the number of holders, it seems to be pretty stable. It's very difficult to judge the project just on the coin value because of the Thor account. Being able to push it up and that. So it's not super easy to see. But if you look at the number of holders, I tend to find that it's quite linear, which is more interesting. So it's just a matter of getting us out to new groups all the time, and then people will jump in, and there'll be the same people in every group, right? There's going to be paper hands, there's going to be whales, there's going to be long-term holders, and it's just a matter of flushing out the ones we don't want and trying to retain the ones that we do want before we move on to the next user base. We don't really want to be interacting with too many at the same time, but no, there's lots and lots of long-term plans for advertising, and the budgets. I mean, the amount they've spent already is absolutely absurd, and they've got no plan on slowing up anytime soon.
Okay. Because the Rush group where I'm from Russia is not growing, and it's just a tiny one.
What's that, mate? I didn't. Your connection's not great. Say again. Oh, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Russia, and
Right.
the Russian group, it's tiny. It's not growing. It's like in 350.
I mean, if you understand the basics of the token, and you want to help by and you've got some free time, we're always looking for language speakers to moderate those groups. That's really the only thing that slows down any groups is the admin to moderate it. So if you've got the inclination and the knowledge, put yourself forward to help with moderating. It's a big thing. It's one of the reasons the Chinese group kicked off was because we got a couple of really good Chinese mods there.
I think I sent you one time the personal message that in the group there's a big mess, and it needs to be. I don't know if I can help with the moderation, but it's been just overfloated with flood and swearing words and things like that. So
really,
not a good. It's not a good.
I don't speak Chinese, so I can't.
Maybe
help,
because they're too. Maybe because they're 2 image guys that are just going around different DeFi's and investing $5 and think. I mean,
we all know.
So anyway, well.
Yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to is the stuff.
So I think
no worries, money. Anytime. I'm always here.
Yeah, I think if when the information about the team side, it will help many investors. But I understand what you said. Thank you. Thanks very much.
See you, bud. Talk soon. Still there, Rake?
Yeah, man, I'm
Right.
still
Sorry
here.
for interrupting you.
No
Nah,
problem,
no.
man. No
He's
problem.
good.
We
He's
were
good.
just chatting, so just feel free to interrupt whenever.
I'm actually going to have to make a move, mate. So, is there anything else pressing that that you need to ask or?
No,
Chat
no,
or-
no, not at all. It was good chat with you.
Yeah, well,
Do it again.
Laura's here. I'm trying to push for the chat to be open 24/7. So if any time that you see it's open, if you come in and just chat, and that can stimulate other people to come in and chat, and sooner the mods can move away from it, and you guys can, self-moderate to some level, it's a big help. So whenever you see it
Well,
open,
be
just
careful,
jump in
man.
and listen.
J-
Be careful. I
Jay,
like to chat a lot. So.
Hey Jay,
Yeah.
another quick one. You
Sure.
discussed with Rake this this LP, the Thoreum BNB number
Yeah.
4. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
dynamic
Yeah.
pool. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I've been in all the vals and all the native tokens pools, but I've never done the 2 token pool because
It's really nice.
simply I don't know how to do that.
Man, you want me to run you?
Question,
You want
but
me to run you through it now? We can set you up a liquidity pair in no time.
what do I do? I need to buy BNB and then I need to have Thoreum. Yeah.
Your connection is really awful. Are you? Oh, now are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, your connection is really, really awful. But basically, what you need to do is you need to have equal amounts of BNB and Thorium. So that's the first step. And when I say equal amounts, I mean equal value in the 2. So you can stake, 1 BNB and 1 BNB's worth of Thorium. So do you have that, or do you want me to just run through it verbally and then you do it later, or what do you want to do it live?
No, I'm right now I cannot do it, but yes, I need to have both, like the BNB and the Thorium, and then what?
Okay, so the normal
stake
place. No. So what you do is you go to Pancake Swap, where you normally would go to change BNB to Thorium. The next tab over will say liquidity pairs or create liquidity, something like that. So you click on that, and then it will ask you then to stake both of your tokens, and you can choose whatever you like. But right now we're interested in Thorium BNB. So you put Thorium in the top one, BNB in the second one, and it will only let you insert equal amounts of both of those tokens. So if you put in 1 BNB, it will tell you how much Thorium that is, and you can say if you're happy with that or not happy with it. You then stake that with them, and then they actually give you a liquidity pair token, and they'll give you a certain amount of that of that token. And that token doesn't show up in your wallet. Don't get freaked out. It's still, you can go to the Pancake Swap website at any time, and you can see the amount that you're holding there. But you can then come across to the Thoreum website, and you can go to that pool, and it'll allow you to then stake that liquidity pair token rather than staking the 2 individual ones. So it's like one more step, but it's really not a complicated one.
Yeah, well, sounds a little bit complicated, but I'll try. Okay.
The way
might
that I learned
some videos, on YouTube.
Yeah, I was just about to say, literally the way I learned was I went on YouTube. You don't need to worry about Thorium BNB on YouTube. Just Google how to create liquidity pairs for anything, and someone will do a walkthrough.
How to create? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the only step, if you get stuck at any point, you can DM me. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
I'll chat to you guys again soon.
Okay.
Right?
Have a good one. Thanks, guys.
You too. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, MJ. Yeah. Take care. Bye.